Hi, how are you? Shabbat shalom.
It's not quite time, but those of us in the back have lots of time to come up front because we have a large sanctuary and we don't want to be spread out so much that we can't greet each other, which we're going to be doing. So, as soon as you can get up here, we can begin. Good evening and welcome to services at Temple Mount Sinai. This is our family Kabbalat Shabbat service in which we have our young folks and our regular congregants, and we will have that service together. Mindy's going to introduce the opening song, which should be in your handout if you got one coming in.
Thank you, Tina. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. So we just had an exciting family Shabbat before this where we heard some stories, and a lot of our tunes this evening are from our religious school tefillah services. They involve a lot of clapping, so I highly encourage all the children in the congregation to clap along with us, okay? We're going to begin either in your book on page 10 or in your handout on the back, Hine Matov. matov umanayim shevet achim gam yahad. Hinei matov umanayim shevet achim gam yahad. Hinei matov umanayim shevet achim gam yahad. Hinei matov umanayim shevet achim gam yahad. How good it is,
How good it is,
how sweet it is,
how sweet it is
to be together on this day. How good it is,
how good it is,
how sweet it is,
how sweet it is
to be together on this day. Hinei matov umanayim shevet achim gam yahad. Hinei matov umanayim shevet achim gam yahad. Shalom Aleichem, Salam Aleikum. Shalom Aleichem, Salam Aleikum. Shalom Aleichem, Salam Aleikum. Shalom Aleichem, Salam Aleikum. How good it is,
how good it is,
how sweet it is
how sweet it is
to be together on this day. How good it is,
how good it is,
how sweet it is
how sweet it is
to be together on this day. Hinei matov umanayim shevet achim gam yahad. Hinei matov umanayim shevet achim gam yahad.
How good it is to be together on this Kabbalat Shabbat. We are going to begin, as Friday evenings always begin, with the lighting of candles. And I invite Marcia Dahlberg to come forward and ask the rest of us to turn to page 2. After we do the candle blessings, we will have a little greeting of our neighbor, and then our youngest folks have the option. They can stay here, or they can go with Miss Violet and Miss Mindy and have their own activities this evening. So we are on page 2. As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who've kindled light, so may we in our own day be among those who kindle light. You may rise for the lighting of the candles.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kishanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu le'at livner shel Shabbat.
And with the lights in our faces, we're going to turn to our neighbors and wish them a Shabbat Shalom and give them greetings. Don't forget our guitarist. Now it's at this time which our young folk, if they are ready, may go with Mindy and Violet. Miss Mindy and Miss Violet have things planned for you. And if you wish to stay here, you certainly may do so. You may be seated. It seems as though we cannot do enough to welcome Shabbat. So we are going to turn to page 20 and do our Lahadodi, which is welcoming the Sabbath bride, with verses 1, 2, 5, and 9. Lahadodi, page 20. Remain standing and turn to page 27. Teach me, O God, a blessing, a prayer on the mystery of a withered leaf, on ripened fruit so fair, on the freedom to see, to sense, to breathe, to know, to hope, to despair. Together, teach my lips a blessing, a hymn of praise, as each morning and night you renew your days. Lest my day be today as the one before, lest routine set my ways. We prepare ourselves now to recite the Barhu, and in case somebody's wondering, some of our younger members might wonder, what is the Barhu? The Barhu is recited by the prayer leader to call the congregation to prayer. It's the beginning of our formal communal worship. We're on page 28. Be seated. We're on page 30. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, who speaks the evening into being, skillfully opens the gates, thoughtfully alters the time and changes the seasons, and arranges the stars in their heavenly courses according to plan. You are creator of day and night, rolling light away from darkness and darkness from light, transforming day into night and distinguishing one from the other. Adonai Sefaot is your name. Ever-living God, may you reign continually over us into eternity. Blessed are you, Adonai, who brings on evening. Baruch atah Adonai, hamari aravim. We turn to page 34 for the watchword of our faith, the Shema. Would you rise?
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem, Kevod Malchuto, Le'olam.
You may be seated.
Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'odecha v'chayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anohi metzavecha hayom al levavecha Veshinantam levanecha, v'dibartam, v'shivtecha bebetecha, uv'lechtecha v'derech, uv'shofbecha uv'kumecha, u'kshartam le'ot al yadecha, v'hayu letotafot beinenecha, u'chtavtam al mezuzot beitecha, Ufihi sharecha lema'an tizheru ve'asitem et kol mitzvotai ve'hitem kedoshim le'Elohechem ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeit yetchem me'eretz Mitzrayim lehiot lachem Elohim Ani Adonai Elohechem.
We're on page 39. We'll read responsively. In a world torn by violence and pain, a world far from wholeness and peace, give us the courage to say, Adonai, there is one God in heaven and earth. The high heavens declare your glory. May earth reveal your justice and love. From bondage in Egypt we were delivered. At Sinai we bound ourselves to your way. Inspired by prophets and instructed by sages, time and again we overcame oppressive forces. Though our failings are many and our faults are great, it has been our glory to bear witness to our God, keeping alive in dark ages your vision of a world redeemed. Let us continue to work for the day when the nations will come one, singing on the shores of the sea. And the singing is the Mihamoha prayer on page 40. We will, in a moment, be doing the Amidah. And once again, you might ask, especially if you're a younger person, what is the Amidah? The Hebrew Amidah means standing, and in Judaism, the main section of both or all morning, afternoon, and evening prayers is recited while standing. There is never a Jewish service without an Amidah. So with that, would you please rise and turn to page 46.
Adonai, Adonai, Sefatai Tivtach, Ufi Agid, Tehilateha, Adonai, Sefatai Tivtach, Ufi Agid, Tehilateha, Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanorah, El Elyon, Gomel Hasadim Tovim, Ve'konei Hakol, Ve'zocher Hasdei Avot v'Imahot, U'mevii Gula Livnei V'nechem, Leman Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer U'Moshiach U'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham Ve'ezrat Sarah, Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechaye HaKol atah Rav Le'Hoshia, Morid Hatah, Mekalkel Chayim B'Chesed, Mechaye HaKol Be'Rachamim Rabim, Somech Noflim Ve'Rofeh Olim, Umatir Asurim, Umekayem Emunato Lishem הגבורות, ומתומלה, מלך ממית ומחיה, ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה לחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיה הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יחללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני, האל הקדוש.
You may be seated. We're on page 55. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day, and may this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai, mekadesh ha-Shabbat. We take a moment now for silent meditation, tefillah hadelev, the prayers of the heart.
Please join me on page 60 for a prayer of peace. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasih Le'olam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasih Le'olam. Ki atah melech adon lechol hashalom. Ki atah melech adon lechol hashalom. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasih Le'olam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasih Le'olam. V'tov b'necha levarech et amcha Yisrael b'chol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasih Le'olam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasih Le'olam.
We now turn our thoughts to those of our loved ones and friends who are in need of healing. And we turn to page 253 for the Mishavera prayer. We add the names of those individuals in our community who are in need of healing in mind, body, or spirit. That includes Lisa Ann Rainey Waldock, Lenore Mendelson, Cora Robertson. If you have those that you are praying for and would like to offer their names out loud, please feel free to do so as we go through the congregation.
Valerie Martin, Rose Hall, Helen Silence.
Page 253. So Ekev is our Torah portion for this week in the 5th book of Torah. As we approach the high holidays, we are beginning the month of Elul, and Ekev is the subject of what Susie Novick will be talking about this evening, our talented choir member and board member and all-around very good Jewish lady. Is going to talk about it to this evening to us, and then I understand you'll be reading from it tomorrow. So we invite you to come up and share your words with us.
Thank you, Tina, for that lovely introduction. Birth is a beginning and death a destination, and life is a journey from defeat to defeat to defeat until, looking backward or ahead, we see that the victory lies not at some high place along the way, but in having made the journey, stage by stage, a sacred pilgrimage. These words of Rabbi Alvin Fine, which we read before the Kaddish on Kol Nidre, ring so true for me. I've always felt that the journey is more important than the destination. It's more important to enjoy and learn from our experiences along the way of life's journey. Perhaps that's the reason we like to take back roads when we travel, so that we can see just what's off the interstate. But each time I hear those words on Kol Nidre, I realize once again the opportunity I have to see if I'm taking those words to heart. This week's Parsha, Ekev, speaks to the importance of journeys and what we can learn from them. After all, Moses and the Israelites sojourned for 40 years in the desert for a good reason, and Moses reminds them of their journey from slavery to freedom to Sinai to the edge of the promised land. In essence, Moses tells them their story, the steps along the way, the moments of joy and distress, the moments of belief and doubt. More important, he reminds them that God's presence was with them every step along the way, showing God's love and concern for his people. And Moses shares the most important message, that they will enjoy the fruits of God's love and care once they are settled in the promised land if they heed God's commandments. Chapter 8 of this portion begins, quote, "All the commandments which I charge you today you shall keep to do, in order that you may live and multiply and come and take hold of the land which the Lord has sworn to your fathers. And you shall remember all the ways in which the Lord your God led you these 40 years in the wilderness, in order to afflict you, to test you, to know what was in your heart, whether you would keep his commandments or not." What does that mean for us today? What is our promised land? Perhaps we as individuals have our own promised land, and our journeys are all ways of getting there. And sometimes we have to pass through the wilderness to get there, just as Moses and the Israelites did. Our promised lands could be the legacy that we leave to the world, the result of making a difference for ourselves and others. I contend that by being good people, appreciating those around us, and working to make our world a better place, we are creating our own promised lands. Moses begins a sermon after his story of the journey, which in essence tells us how to be good people. Do justice for the orphan and widow, and love the sojourner, for we were sojourners in the land of Egypt. Moses tells us to cut away the thickening of our hearts and be no more stiff-necked. This, I think, is the most important lesson. We need to be open to God's word, to ourselves, to those we love, to the strangers in our midst. Rabbi Lisa Edwards suggests that the phrase means to cut away a metaphorical outer coating, whatever prevents the heart's tenderness from coming through, whatever keeps us fearful of others, of strangers, and prevents us from showing another what is in our heart. Perhaps the thickness of the heart is what keeps us from wanting to know the heart of someone else, be it a friend or a family member, or a stranger walking down a street in our neighborhood. There's something powerful in reminding ourselves that God long ago called us to trim away the tough shell of fear and defensiveness and to open our hearts to others. So in these weeks before the high holidays, especially during the month of Elul, which starts on August 17th, when we focus on asking forgiveness for wrongs we've done to other people, let's think about the ways that we can be more open to new things, to new people, and to new ways of thinking about how we can make our journeys more meaningful to ourselves and to God. Shabbat Shalom.
And Yasher Koach. If you'll hold on to this. We are now going to do Kiddush. If you'll turn back to page 5 in your Siddur and rise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kishanu mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava u'ratzon hinilanu, zikaron lema'aseh v'reishit, ki hu yom tehillah lemikraye kodesh, zeher l'tziat mitzrayim, ki vanu v'harta
Baruch atah Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat. Amen.
L'chaim. Now, you may be seated unless you have a birthday or anniversary in the month of August, because this is the time that you will come up here, including one gentleman on the bema, I think has a special occasion in August, and his wife is right here. So if you'll meet right in the front here, we will find out what you're celebrating, and as a community, we will celebrate with you.
My name is Betty Scheidlower, and I am married to Manny Scheidlower for 55 years the end of the month.
My name is Becky Myers, and on August 30th, I've got to say it, I'll be 70. It's like,
Amazing. Amazing.
Lourdes Scobell Eager. I'm celebrating a birthday August the 9th, 53.
Hi, I'm Sandra Vexler. My husband, Enrique Mejia, and I will be celebrating 6 years of marriage or bondage, maybe, on August 11th.
And we have one little one who's coming.
Oh, okay. Oh, I bet it's a birthday. I bet it's a birthday.
Will you tell us your name and what you're celebrating?
My name is Molly.
What are you celebrating?
I'm turning 6.
So we have some grape juice for you. Well, we're going to sing the Shehachianu for you, okay? Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, Shehachianu, v'kilanu, la'azman hazeh. L'chaim.
L'chaim. And you good folks may return to your seats with many happy celebrations and rewards of the days that you're celebrating, and we will think of you on those days. Don't be seated, because we are going to page 282 for the Aleinu. Please rise.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'tovon hakol, l'tei kedula liyotzei bereshit, shelo asanu k'gei haratzot, velo samanu k'mishmechot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkeinu kachen, v'goraleinu kechol ha'ona, v'anachnu korim u'mishtachavim u'modim lifnei melech malchei hamalchim hakadosh baruch hu v'ne'emar ahaya Adonai lemelech al kol haaretz bayom hahu yeh Adonai echad u'shemo echad.
You may be seated. Our thoughts turn to those who have departed this earth, our own loved ones, those whom our friends and neighbors have lost, the martyrs of our people whose graves are unmarked, and those of every race and nation whose lives have been a blessing to humanity. As we remember them, we meditate on the meaning of love and loss of life and death. In the 30 days since their passing, the Shaloshim that we recall, Ronald Weingarten, Diane Harris Klein, Jonathan Isaacman, Marie Spud Carey, Cipriana Estrada, Victor Zane Hollowell, and Louis David Weinstein. If I mention the name of a loved one that you are remembering, please rise if you choose to. Also, in the week passing, we are marking the yard sites of Julius Abrahams, Esther Kime Ackerman, John Amstetter, Helen Berry, Antonio Arbono Benazar, Haiti Sachs-Berg, Connie Berry, Carl Blumenthal, Kenneth Harris Bromberg, Ruth Goodman Carr, Jean Colton, Jade Druxman, Johanna Fishbein, Alexander Gluck, Bella Evelyn Harris, Dorothy Hollenshed, Ethel Himes, Ida Cohen Joseph, Andrew Kahn, Samby Katz, Ada Zort Krakauer, Betty Katz Krupp, Lillian Stern Late, Laura Lennart Hart, Alvin M. Levy, Gus Levy, Norman H. Liebman, Todd Nankin, Rebecca Perlstein, Dora H. Rosen, Marcus Russick, Karen Schwartz, Anna Scheidlauer, Arthur Silberg, Ray S. Slater, Irvin Doc Stein, Vera Stolaroff, Leo Taub, Elise Dorothy Wolf. If you turn to page 294, we'll all rise together as a community for the mourner's Kaddish. Yikadal ve'yikadash shemei rabbah, ve'elman divrachi v'tei v'yomik malhutei, ve'chai honu yom echon u'v'chayet o beit Israel, ba'galal v'zman kari v'imru amen. Yehei shemei rabbah me'barak ve'elam u'ma'ei amaya. Eat barak v'it shabak v'it par v'it roman v'it naseh. V'it hadar v'it halel v'it halal shemei d'kudusham brihu. Le'ei min kol v'iratav v'shiratav. Tush b'hatav v'neimatav. Da'amiran v'aman v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shamaya. V'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Israel v'imru amen. O say shalom v'vramav. Hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Israel, v'imru amen. You may be seated. O say shalom v'vramav, Hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Israel, and we turn the microphone over to our president, Scott Stevens, who will give us some announcements.
Good Shabbos. I'd like to thank our greeter tonight, Sebastian Vargas. Job well done. I'd also like to thank those on the Bema with me tonight. Adam Scheidlauer, we really appreciate your being here. Mindy and Tina, as always, very good. Love to have you here. And I am honored tonight to have past President Jack Heidemann here and board member Manny Scheidlauer. I think there's a relation there. I'd like to start off by thanking our ONEG sponsor, the Krasny Discretionary Fund. Also, I would like to thank for streaming Randy Mansfield in memory of Dorothy Hollingshead. And I would like to say that religious school begins on August 13th. That's right around the corner. If you haven't enrolled your children yet, please see Mindy. Torah study is every Saturday morning at 9:30 in the boardroom. If you'd like to join it, I'm sure they would love to have you there. And I believe, not this week? Next week is Jack. So, for the next items, if you need more information, please see the weekly email. We have new Slichot prayer book plaque dedications. I'd like to thank who made these notes because I have a problem with that word and they spelled it phonetically just for me. The Society for Crypto-Judaic Studies is holding its 33rd annual conference in El Paso, August 13th through the 15th. The High Holiday Cooking Class is August 19th. Space is limited. Please see the weekly email. To sign up for that, you need to RSVP. The Hadassah event, Better Health with Better Jokes. Maybe I should attend that one. Saturday, August 20th at Temple Mount Sinai. I would also like to acknowledge Chaplain Fromer. He's Fort Bliss Chaplain, Jewish Chapel number 3, and his family have joined us. Thank you. I'd also like to acknowledge all the past presidents that we have here tonight. Keith Myers, Sherry Schwartz, Stuart Schwartz, Marcia Dahlberg, Phil Rothstein. Thank you all, and thank everyone for coming tonight. It is really nice to see so many people here. Thank you. Shabbat Shalom.
And especially nice to see so many young people here. I notice Maura Violet and Maura Mindy have brought the little ones back in. So we are going to do a song that, for closing, that you would know, Bim Bam. And Miss Mindy's going to lead us in that. So let's stand.
Bim bam, bim 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 bam, bim 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 bam. Chiri biri biri bim bam, bim 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 bam, bim 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 bam. Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat 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 shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat 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 shalom, Shabbat 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 shalom, Shabbat 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 shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat 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 shalom.
And before we depart this sanctuary, Mindy's going to lead us in the melody for the priestly blessing as we go on our way.
Yivarechacha Adonai v'yishmerecha.
May the Lord bless you and keep you.
Yair Adonai panav elecha v'yichunecha.
May the Lord look kindly upon you and be gracious to you.
Asa Adonai panav elecha v'yisemlecha. Shalom.
May the Lord bestow favor on you and grant peace to you. Please join us in Slanka Hall for Kiddush. Shabbat Shalom.